I think a lot of people confuse avoidance with self protection. Like, it feels smart, it feels mature, it feels like you're being careful with your energy, your time, your heart. But most of the time, you're not protecting yourself from harm, you're protecting yourself from unfamiliarity. Discomfort gets labeled as danger way too fast. The body feels something unfamiliar and immediately goes, nope, that's a threat. Not because it's actually a threat, but just because something feels uncomfortable. And just because something feels uncomfortable doesn't mean it's wrong. A lot of growth feels destabilizing before it feels expansive. It feels awkward, it feels clumsy, it feels like you don't know where to stand yet, and your nervous system hates that feeling. Your nervous system wants predictability more than it wants happiness. Remember that. So it chooses what it knows. That's why people stay in situations that don't actually nourish them, relationships that feel heavy, routines that feel tight, jobs that quietly drain them, identities that don't fit anymore. Not because it's all good, but because it's not because it's aligned, but because it's familiar. And the person in the situation knows how to survive there. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar possibility. At least you know what today is going to feel like. At least you know where the exits are. At least you know what to expect emotionally. Growth doesn't offer that. Growth asks you to step into something without instructions, without any guarantees, without proof that it'll work out. And that's where avoidance starts to look like wisdom. Because when you avoid discomfort, nothing looks like it's breaking. Your life doesn't collapse. There's no dramatic fallout. Everything keeps moving at the same pace. And that creates this illusion of stability. It feels calm. It feels controlled. It feels like you're holding it together. But underneath that calm, time is still passing. Energy is still being spent. You're still paying the cost. It's just quieter. Instead of paying with fear up front, you pay with low grade dissatisfaction, with irritation that doesn't have a clear source, with a sense something's off, but you really can't explain why. You get this grief, this subtle grief for a version of yourself that you never gave space to become. Avoidance doesn't freeze you in place. It slowly moves you further and further away from yourself while convincing you that you're being responsible. And the tricky part is, avoidance doesn't feel like fear. It feels like patience. It feels like waiting for the right time. It feels like I'll deal with this once things settle down. But things don't settle down on their own. You have to create that environment. Life doesn't pause to become convenient. There's always something happening. Always another reason to wait. So if something keeps getting pushed to later on, if there's a conversation you keep rehearsing but never having, there's a change you keep saying you'll make once you feel more ready, it's not a timing issue. Most times it's not. It might just be discomfort you haven't learned how to sit with yet. And sitting with discomfort doesn't mean forcing yourself into action. It doesn't mean blowing your life up. It just means telling the truth about what feels off instead of numbing it. Letting yourself notice the resistance without immediately obeying it. Because growth doesn't start when you feel fearless. It starts when you stop letting discomfort make every decision for you. Wow, I had this on my nose this whole time.